Hello and welcome to the Comic Book Communicast, the official podcast of the Google Plus comic book community. Every episode, each of us chooses our favorite comic of the week to talk about, and then we'll discuss any significant comic-related news and TV for the week. And just a reminder, you can find all of our episodes at comicbookcommunicast.com, as well as links for the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and RSS. Welcome to issue number 68 for the week of December 12th, 2015. I'm Justin Beeson, and I'm joined by co-host Paul Christopher.
Good afternoon, everybody.
We're back. I know it's been a while, but we're going to have a new schedule, new format. Since, weekly podcasts were getting a little tough with real life and babies and all that fun stuff, we're going to try and do this main video podcast on a monthly schedule now. To make up for it, you'll hopefully be seeing some shorter audio-only episodes in between those. By us and then maybe some of the other community mods. And instead of the weekly pick of the week, we will be just talking about anything that we've been reading that stood out to us since the last episode. So let's get right into it for this episode. Paul, what have you been reading?
First of all, I want to say that I feel like we've become, like, before we were like one of the big two. We were like Marvel, DC. We were like bam, bam, bam. Now we're like an indie company. It's like we'll put out an issue when we feel like it. Yeah, we get around to it. God only knows when, but you'll be there.
Yep.
So all right. So I gotta tell you that the kiddo has been destroying my comic book reading time. I've been having to,
I can understand that.
They're away for 2 weeks, and I got all caught up, and but now I'm behind again. So I was really surprised how much I had actually missed. So I've been having to pick and choose when I have like these rare opportunities. Like, what am I going to read? Which is really making me understand like what's valuable. Like, what do I love the most? Like, what can I not give up? And surprisingly enough, Batman did not make that cut. I have been reading the whole Batman and Robin Eternal thing, and it's kind of interesting. It's like a Batman comic without Batman, and all this flashback stuff, and this whole it just goes back to what I've been saying all along. Like, they just need to move on. They need to evolve to the next Batman, because they've told all the Bruce Wayne Batman stories that there is to tell. So now they're like making up these like hidden history things, and it's just like, okay.
How are you enjoying it as a whole? Like, I've really liked it, actually.
Yeah, overall, I'm digging it. The story's pretty cool and all, and I like the interaction with all the other Robins. Although, with them making Jason Todd hang out more with the rest of the Bat family, they've had to tone him way back. And I liked the fact that Jason Todd was like the kind of like almost the anti-Batman. He's basically the Punisher of the DC universe. And now there's always these one-offs like, no killing, Jason. It's like, they would be arresting his ass. I'm sorry, like, knowing that he kills people, like, he would not be able to step foot in Gotham again. So they've had to do all this toning back and all that. Overall, I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the mystery. It's pretty cool. And where the hell's Damian?
Yeah, I read like the little intro for his Robin Son of Batman series, and he's off like traveling the world, I think. So I'm sure he'll make it in at some point. But yeah, I've really dropped off following a lot of DC stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the ones I am following, tying into the Batman Robin, is I jumped back on Grayson. I kind of I dropped off after the initial thing, but then everybody kept talking about it. So I started reading again, and it's been I started reading after Convergence, like, for a new storyline, new outline. And he's been coming back to Gotham and interacting more with the rest of the Bat family. More people are finding out that he's still alive. And it's a really fun, spy story, but then now it's also tying back in with the Batman universe, which I liked more than having it all on its own. Have you read any of those?
No. Although, I wasn't opposed to the idea. I thought that, when we go back to talking about evolution, I thought that was an interesting evolution for the character. Although if anybody was going to be picked up as like some Black Ops spy thing, once again, I think they picked the wrong Robin, But overall, I think it's a good idea. This just wasn't something I was going to pick up.
Yeah. So, and there's this interesting dynamic now where Dick Grayson was doing this at Batman's request, and now like basically Batman, he's no longer Batman, and so Grayson was just kind of left out in the cold undercover until he found out what happened, and so now he's on his own basically, without somebody helping him out. And there's some good like scenes in there where he's trying to contact, I forget what Batman's code name is in it, but he's trying to contact him, and he starts just kind of talking to himself, and it's really good.
And then there was a whole uproar about basically like objectifying Dick Grayson and all that, like where he was like getting scanned naked by these women and stuff like that. So
that's kind of always been in a part of that book, is they really embrace, because Dick Grayson is one of the only male comic like sex symbols or whatever, so they're really playing that aspect up, and I think it's funny. Like,
I do too. It's like, it's kind of like they're flipping the script on the whole thing. It's like we've been doing this with female characters for years, for decades now. Now we're you see what it's like. So, right. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. What else have you been reading?
I've been reading Velvet. That's a must. Absolute must. Oh my gosh, that book is good. If they want a new TV series like FX or like Stars, or one of the good ones like AMC, they want a new series, get that one. Get that one. So hard. So good.
I just got caught up on it too. It's a bummer that the release schedule isn't a little more consistent. Because each, it takes me a little bit to get back into it.
Yeah.
But I want to go read the first couple storylines back like all at once.
Yeah.
Because it's an amazing story, and I wish I had the I don't know, the self-control, whatever, to just wait until the trades come out to read it, but I can't. Like, it's so good.
See, the baby has fixed that problem for me. Right. Because by the time I get around to reading it, there's like 6 issues. Yeah. But yeah, I totally understand how you feel. I mean, like every time I put it down, I'm like, I want the next one. I want it now. Or speaking of binging, like if Netflix got a hold of it, that would be awesome, because they would do a fantastic job with it, and you could binge on it. Like they would just do like one storyline per season.
Yeah, I could definitely see them turning that into a TV show. I'm sure it'll get adapted some way. There's actually, I don't know if you read the back matter of the last issue, but he was talking about just how spy movies and spy stories have kind of come, had a little bit of a resurgence. There was Bond, there's The Man from U.N.C.L.E., there's was Spy, there was
Kingsman,
the Mark Miller, Kingsman, and just kind of a reflection of everybody. It's like kind of a reaction to like a surveillance state and all the stuff with the government and everything that comes up. And it was kind of the same thing back in, when spy movies were a big thing, decades ago.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure they're always looking for more of these types of stories, and this would be a good one to adapt.
But it has to be done by the right people. Like this would not work on an NBC. It wouldn't work on a CBS, because they'd want to make a procedural out of it. It's just no. It has to be on the Stars. It has to be on a Netflix. It has to be like on an HBO, something like that.
Yeah, agreed.
And then on that, it's East of West, always a must, and Sex Criminals, always a must. Sex Criminals has gotten like, now that it's opened the universe up a little bit more, it has gotten really bizarre, but it's still a funny read. I love it.
I haven't heard much about it lately.
Yeah, they've started introducing like new characters. They're basically finding other people that have their powers, but then like and some other people, like these powers manifest differently. Like one of them, like when he ejaculates, his ejaculate, his like sperm turns into this like what they call the cum fairy. Like literally, it's like this.
Oh my God!
Like this Japanese anime looking fairy creature that's like also hyper violent and has like tentacles under her skirt and all that. It looks like this, like, it looks like a Sailor Moon character. but then like if she attacks you, she's got like tentacles and stuff. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you read that book for. I love that book. So yeah, those are pretty much my must reads right there. Oh, and Forever, Lazarus.
Oh yeah, I still have all those waiting for me to catch up, but I haven't got a chance to get around to it.
So what you do is when you've run out of Velvet and you're like, that's when you go and you hit the Lazarus, because you have all of that stuff to read up to. By the time you get done with it, the next Velvet book will be out.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, that's one of the ones I really need to get to. I've been behind on my weekly comics, so I've been kind of doing the same thing you have and picking and choosing which ones to read. And then speaking of the next one, I went through all of Alias before the Jessica Jones premiere.
Yeah,
and it's awesome because it's like I think it's 25 issues or 24 issues, and a nice beginning and somewhat of an end. And I think this was like Brian Michael Bendis' one of his first, one of his earlier, Marvel comics, and it was on the Max imprint, so it was more like an Image comic than it was a Marvel comic.
Right.
And it's really good. It's a good crime story, and just definitely recommended read for anybody. The only thing that kind of is a little weird is they do this thing where they repeat panels while she's like interviewing somebody, and just like with like slight facial feature changes. I get what they're going for, but it gets a little old after a while.
Yeah. What they need to do a follow-on series now that the TV show is like done so well, and let Ed Brubaker script it. The king of noir is like
yeah. I mean, that would be cool. I think he's done with Big Two comics for a while. It sounds like. I mean, because he's got that exclusive deal with Image.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He could definitely do a good job on it. I'm surprised they haven't announced anything for like a new Jessica Jones comic, unless I'm missing something. But I don't think she's in anything besides. She's probably in one of the group books or something.
Is she the all-female Avengers?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been kind of out of loop on. There's just way too many new books that I haven't been able to follow all of them. Let's see, the other one that I've been reading is the new old Miracleman, and this is the one where Neil Gaiman took over, and it's obviously it's completely different from the Alan Moore run, but it's still, I don't know, because I'm biased towards Neil Gaiman stuff, but all of these they're one-off. At the end of Alan Moore's run, basically, Miracleman kind of took over and it became a dictatorship, but it's like the idealized version of it, where he really does make a utopia.
Benevolent dictator.
Was that?
Benevolent dictator.
Yeah, where everybody's happy, like it's a perfect world, nobody goes hungry, everything like that. So, so what Neil Gaiman is doing is they're just, each issue is like a day in the life of all the regular people. So one issue follows a group of people as they make kind of like what's it called when like a pilgrimage to Miracleman's monument, and you have to climb all these stairs and do all these trials before you get to the top, and then you can make a request of him, and he might grant it, he might not. And it's just, and then the last issue was kind of like a storybook. They turned Miracleman's daughter's trip into the stars as like a kid's story, and so they tell this kid's story and how it affects everybody. And it's really cool. I could definitely see where it's not for everybody, but I'm loving it.
Why haven't Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman gotten together to write a book together? They seem like they would be a pretty good fit. I
don't know that Alan Moore. I could be completely wrong, but does he co-write with any? Co-write with anybody?
I don't know if he has.
He seems like a guy that would not want to give up any control on what he's doing. Everybody's seen his scripts or heard of how he maps out panels to the detail.
Right.
So I don't see him as someone who collaborates very much.
We can cross our fingers. We can always hope.
Did you read Dark Knight 3 at all?
I have not read after reading Dark Knight 2. I just basically Frank Miller has like used up all his credit with me. So I might eventually one day get around to it, but today's not that day.
Yeah, it might be one of those ones to read in a collection. The first issue, you can't live up to I never even read Dark Knight 2. So I don't have that tainting me or anything, but it's a lot to live up to come up with another one of those. And the only reason I did at all was because Brian Azzarello was the one, is a co-writer on there. And from what I could tell, he's writing most of it, but it was definitely underwhelming.
Yeah. And then what about the art too? Who's doing the art? Is Miller doing the art?
No. Maybe Klaus Johnson or no.
Oh, yeah. The guy, I think the people from the original books.
Yeah. But Frank Miller does, I think, a backup in it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not doing the main story.
Okay.
So yeah, it's other people handling it. I think Frank Miller just came up with the overall story, and other people are handling the bulk of the creative work.
Or they just want his name on it because since it's Dark Knight, then
right. Right. Anything else you've been catching up on?
Comic book wise, no.
All right. The last thing I wanted to hit on was Secret Wars. So I know you probably haven't read this because it's Marvel, but it's Hickman, it's Esad Ribic who did excellent Thor run, and it's even it's delay after delay after delay, and it's kind of doing the thing that happened with Forever Evil, where the event hasn't finished, but all the relaunch titles have started without it. But even then, I'm still looking forward to every issue. The issue number 8 came out last week, I think, and they extended it to one more issue that got pushed back again, I think. But unlike Forever Evil, where I was just waiting for it to be done and get finished, it's still one of the best event comics Marvel's put out, and it's just a bummer that it's gotten delayed so much.
You'd think with like huge event things like this that they would just wait till all the books were done, and then put it out so that you wouldn't have to worry about these delays. There would be no possibility because everything would be done and in the can and ready to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they don't do it with the event books like that. They definitely, got a head start, but Esad Ribic, I believe, is, he takes a little while to do his art. So even with the head start, they kind of, I think it's just a case of nobody wants to change the status quo on what they're doing, or, they have to go without getting paid or whatever it is. Because I know like there's some independent comics that do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just these are things that don't. These have been in the works and planned for like years on out. So They have plenty of time to like, okay, we know what we're doing. Here's the scripts all done. Like when the book is done, then we'll start leading into it. Yeah. Like they could have had the books done last year, and then like, okay, once they were all done, then it's like, okay, for all the books that tie into it, say, okay, like now start leading up to this. Right.
Yeah. And this one they definitely could have done that with, because this is in basically a universe all its own, and ultimately nothing that happens in the event, they can separate the main universe from what's happening in this event because it's in a universe all of its own that's going to get reset or destroyed at the end of it. And so they could basically do whatever they want, and it doesn't matter what the other comics are doing. So they could have planned ahead. The other thing is, I think I dropped off all the tie-ins. I kept collecting Thor's because I'm, a completist and I want all of Jason Aaron's Thor run. But none of the tie-ins have really been, they've all just been okay. I don't think there's any that really stood out to me. Weird World was pretty great with Jason Aaron and Mike Del Mundo. I mean, the story was good. The art is just amazing. And Civil War was pretty good, but I don't know that any others stood out to me all that much.
Yeah.
So if that does it for comics, we can move into comic news, TV, whatever. The first thing I wanted to talk about, since it's been a while since we've been on here, and this is one of your characters that you follow, is the Supergirl show. Have you been watching it? What did you think?
I saw the first episode, and it was everything I was afraid it would be. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm done. And also the whole Superman thing, like I've been following along like on IO9 and Entertainment Weekly, kind of like their reflections of it. Yeah. And the Superman thing, like on the first episode, I was thinking to myself, like, this is gonna be one of those things where it's like they have to keep bringing him up, but you never see. I was like, oh, you just missed it, and like that annoys the crap out of me. Just don't have him in it, you know. But at the same time, if you have him in it, then it's like it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't communicate, you know, and it doesn't make sense that, you know, if something's going on in one area that the other person's not going to help them out. So, you know, Superman, apparently he did do that one episode, but then like you barely get to see him because he's all out of focus. I'm like, for the love of God, all right, you know, DC, you've got a movie Flash and a TV show Flash. You've got a movie Constantine soon and a TV show Constantine. Why the hell can't you have a movie Superman and a TV Superman so you can stop with this nonsense? Plus the whole flighty Ally McBeal vibe on it. It's just like, no. Why does it have to be, if you want it to be a woman show, why does it have to be Ally McBeal? You know, why can't it be, you know, a woman show more like Blind Spot? You know,
Agent Carter.
Yeah, or Agent Carter. You know, something where like, you know, this is like an incredibly powerful woman. Why can't she have her shit together?
Yeah,
why does she have to be all flighty and spazzy? You know, why can't she just, you know, have her stuff together?
Yeah, I get that. I think they're trying to reflect. You know, that was a big thing with Superman. The Clark Kent is supposed to be kind of goofy and not have his stuff together, to, you know, as a big misdirection. But, you know, with this, that's on purpose. With Supergirl, it does, you know, exactly. It's not consciously.
Right. And then, like, sorry, getting over a bit of a cold here.
What happens with babies.
Exactly. The other, yeah, imagine, like, all right, so look at the CW shows, right? Imagine if they had done Arrow the way that they're doing Supergirl. Right? Like, he comes back, he's looking for vengeance, he's got his, like, stuff together, he's like this badass, you know? And it's like, no. It made me so angry. I can't stand it. I can't watch that kind of show, and this whole procedural, and then the whole DEO thing, and like, oh, you know, you're our enemy, maybe, but maybe you're not. Like, we're gonna watch you. It's like, dude, I could destroy everybody in here. So why don't you just toe the line and back the hell up off me, you know? And the whole thing, like, all of a sudden, like, all these prisoners are out. Like, how long have these prisoners been here? You know, when did the spaceship crash? Why isn't Superman cleaning up a bunch of these too? You know, why are they only attacking National City? It's just no.
Yeah, it's kind of that's what's it called? I don't know. It's something that happens in, you know, a lot of comic books where you have all these solo books like Batman or Wonder Woman, whatever, and you have this world-ending thing, and, you know, they always have to find some justification of why doesn't the Justice League come help out, or why don't the Avengers come and help out when, you know, an individual hero has trouble. And I guess it's easier to do it and justify it in the comic books, or you don't think about it as much. But when you're on TV, it's a different dynamic, and so you need to find a better way to address it. The other thing with that go ahead. I was just gonna say the other thing that you know, with that show is just the fight scenes are so bad. The flying effects are terrible. And just the fight choreography it's not network TV show level.
You're right. You know what it looks like? It looks like Buffy. It looks like first season of Buffy. That's what it looks like.
And it's it's just when you have shows like, Agents of Shield or Agent Carter, or now I don't know if you've been watching Into the Badlands, but these are
Oh
TV
yeah.
shows where the fight choreography is amazing. Like it's really good.
Yep.
And something like this on a network, it needs to be, you need to not be thinking about, wow, that looks fake.
Yep. And the other thing, I think part of that is like, oh well, they're like a little nervous about like a woman getting beat up on by mostly male characters. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, really? I
I don't know.
didn't know that.
I honestly don't know. That's
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
thinking. Maybe part of it is because but then on the other side, like apparently, again, I've never watched The Blind Spot, but all the feedback that I'm kind of seeing, and like from my wife, she does watch it, is like the fight scenes on there are like tight. She's whooping butt on there. So, and then apparently Arrow's got good fight scenes. So again,
Oh, yeah.
and these are from the same people, even though they're on like sister networks, and also it's like share some of the talent, get this stuff together. But I think that they don't want to. Yeah, it goes right back to the whole Ally McBeal thing. They don't want her to be like this super awesome badass fighter. I could see like she wouldn't be like a great fighter. She'd be more of like a brawler, because she's never been trained to fight. She's never been in a fight before, but still, and the other side, what you're saying, like the flying effects, it's like they did such a great job with them in Man of Steel. How much would that cost to do similar effects? I don't understand with her. And
I mean,
cost that
I'm
much.
sure there's more. I'm sure there's more involved with the movie.
And look at the Flash. The Flash's running effects are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so, and the good thing is, the sort of good bad thing is, and the skirt. I hate the skirt. Lose the damn skirt, for the love of God. The ratings are at a level where now they're like, before they were just said like this will never cross over with the CW shows, and now they're like, well, never say never. It's like, it would. Yeah, it's like these shows are like super hot. Maybe if we get our show close, they'll ignite our show. Basically, maybe we can borrow some of that mojo and viewers. Or maybe part of the problem is they pushed too hard for like the whole girl power kind of idea. Like there's a lot of like stuff leading up to the show where like the actress is going out with like Girl Scouts and stuff like that, which I thought was fantastic, because we've been talking for a long time now about how women need better representation in the industry, and the industry needs to take better care of its female readers and all that. So I'm not opposed to all that, but I think that they slanted too hard in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And they've ended up losing a lot of the male viewership, which probably, and I don't know, I don't have the numbers, but it's probably still what's keeping like a lot of these afloat. Is the male viewers. You have to have them both, and so hopefully they'll go back and finish up the season and like learn from their mistakes, take a look at the criticism and the feedback and tweak it, because I want there to be a good female superhero show on TV. I want Supergirl to be that show. I want her to succeed, but this isn't the way. This absolutely is not the way.
All right, so so Supergirl's not a recommended show. So what about Jessica Jones?
So now we go from how not to make a female superhero show to how to absolutely make a female superhero show. This show was so good. Oh my gosh. So, but one of the things that really struck me, right? First episode, when Jessica Jones is saving that girl from Kilgrave's place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where she like throws the girl over her shoulder and is like taking her out of the building. It struck me that like here we have women saving women, and you just don't see that. If there's a damsel in distress, it's always a guy, and if they want to, but if there's a female protagonist, then she's rescuing a guy. You know, like, oh, we'll just flip this around. But this is like women saving women. This is how you do a female-centric, female-led, female-focused show that doesn't ditch like your male audience. You know, I mean, like the principal people in the show, except for Kilgrave and Luke Cage, were all women. They were all compelling, all had their own stories, all interesting people. You know, and more often than not, like at no point, if I recall correctly, does Luke Cage save Jessica Jones ever. You know, no, at no point is a woman in this show rescued by a man. They're always rescuing each other.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very, very interesting. Really, really cool. I liked how like in the first few episodes, like all the way through, but like the first few episodes, like, you know, Kilgrave's presence was felt by like this like subtle purple lighting.
Right.
You know, even if they weren't necessarily talking about him or whatever, like if she's thinking about him and whatnot, there's like this purple lighting there that, you know, they just did a fantastic job with this. The only thing there's like a few minor quibbles, like one with what's her name, the blonde, her best friend, the one that's going to eventually be Hellcat.
Oh yeah.
But,
Patricia Walker, I forget what her Patsy Walker.
Patsy Walker, yeah. So she's going through and like they show her doing all this training and stuff, which I think is amazing. And she's like, no, we're going to do this again until it's right and all this stuff. So she's doing all this training. And the first time she has to use it, she gets her ass handed to her. And I'm like, this women's show is saying to women, and Patsy at one point says it herself, is like, all that training, and she's still helpless.
Yeah, but to be fair, they took out, you know, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones too.
No, I'm talking about the cop.
Oh,
the cop.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant when they all in the van or whatever.
Oh no! That was a whole different story. That was a whole other thing. No, I'm talking about the cop. Like she had a one-on-one fight with the cop, had her ass handed to her. He wasn't even on the pills. You know, and like they had to do that because like they used that to get into the story of her relationship with the cop and all that. But
right,
I'm sorry, they could have gotten there. He still could have attacked her. She could have won, or you know, or at least been like fought him to a standstill. And then Jessica comes in, you know, because she's the star of the show. Whatever, right. You know. And they still could have gotten the rest of the storyline. She still could have been like very wary of him at the beginning. He still could have felt very bad for what he attempted to do. All of that still could have happened without him winning. Yeah. Because basically what they're saying, what that show said in that with that scene is like, dear women watching this show, no matter how much training you do, no matter how much preparation you do, you're still at the mercy of men unless you happen to be superpowered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think that's the kind of messages they should have been sending out. And I'm sure that they didn't intentionally do it, but you know, that's the message that was coming across to me, and I just felt that they could have handled that one better. The other one was constantly Jessica is getting tackled by people that Kilgrave has, you know, commanded, right? Like like you know, constantly like they're tackling her and they're helping him get away, like she's having to fight them off. It's like, just knock them out. Like she knows, because she does this eventually. Eventually, she gets to this point where she'll knock them unconscious. That should be the first thing that she does. Like,
well, you know she doesn't want to hurt them, but because she knows they're innocent.
Right, but like, you know, you knock them out, then that's not hurting them, or you know, that's helping them. You know, I mean, like the biggest problem is getting to Kilgrave. Like that should have been her go-to thing. Somebody grabs her, knock them out.
I feel like a lot of it, you know, she doesn't want to hurt him, and I haven't finished it, but like, and you know, a big part of the comic book, and I think it translates in the shows, she's really not sure of her own powers. Like she's still really insecure about them. She doesn't know the extent, like she doesn't know if she's bulletproof or not. You know, so maybe she's holding back because she doesn't want to like really hurt somebody, you know.
If that's the case in the show, they never stated it that way in the show. It's just like they needed for Kilgrave to be able to get away. So they needed Jessica to fight with these people for a while before she finally knocks them out. Because if she just knocked them out the moment they tackled her, then she would be able to catch up. But again, these are like minor things. This thing is still like this amazing show. Absolutely incredible. Another triumph for Netflix.
Yeah, for me, I still haven't finished it. It started to drag a little bit around like episode 7 or 8. I just feel like there's just too much Kilgrave stuff, and not, they're just drawing it out for episode and episode and episode. In the comic series, that's only the last arc of the whole 25 issue run. She does. I wish they would have shown her doing more of her private eye stuff. Like, obviously they can't do this, probably wouldn't do this in the show, but one of the arcs in the comic is her getting caught up in a conspiracy of revealing Captain America's identity. And and they kind of adapted rescuing the girl from another arc where she just goes in and like takes out a bunch of people. So I wish there was a little bit more of that. And
well, I think the reason why they started with Kilgrave, because I've seen the whole thing, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but he was a good way to introduce her backstory all at once. I think it was good to start with him, because he, after, like, you'll see like in the last episode, like they've really shifted now into this new direction where you're talking about, where like I think future seasons will be more about her solving regular case. Now that she's basically kind of solved herself. Oh yeah. Now she's basically solved herself. Now she can move on and help the other people. So I think you'll see more of that in subsequent seasons.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so they did that in the comic too. But obviously, the plot progression and stuff has to be different for a show. But in the comic series, they use the Kilgrave arc to also reveal her origin, because in the comic, the whole time you're wondering what the heck happened that she, stopped being a superhero. And in the comic, she actually was a superhero, not just, thinking about it. And then in that last arc, they reveal her origin and she goes against Kilgrave. And it's a nice, like, quick beginning and end, which is also rare for Brian Michael Bendis now, because he loves everything decompressed. So yeah, they did the same thing. But yeah, I understand why they did it like that in the TV show.
Yeah. But the other thing too that kind of bothered me was, like, a lot of people's lives are ruined because Jessica can't get her shit together, which is part of the thing, part of the whole thing about her. But like, I think at some point she should have acknowledged this at the, like, near the end, as part of her recovery. It's like, wow,
So does she recover at the end?
What do you mean? Like, like she's on the road to recovery at the end of it. Like, she's definitely on the road to, being more serious about kind of the private eye thing,
because that was a big, like, so I was watching it with Angie, and like that was one of her things that was bugging her. It's like she's always just getting drunk, and nothing ever changes, even with all the stuff going on around. Like,
exactly,
she just keeps being a mess and keeps being drunk, and it's like, where's the progression? Where
Yeah, that's true. But part of that is because, part of the thing that led her to be that way was Kilgrave. It's Kilgrave, and she's in this middle of the thing with Kilgrave. So I'm not surprised that during that time that she's, not, that she didn't just stop drinking all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But things are set for a new trajectory by the last episode. So hopefully we'll see better.
Where did you like this better or worse than Daredevil?
Some ways I like them pretty much the same. The one thing I definitely liked about this better, though, was like, as Daredevil, they're teasing out, and you can tell, like, after 2 episodes, like, we're not going to see this damn suit until the last episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, with her, since she doesn't have a suit,
right?
It's
a different kind of show.
Yeah, and she's not building up to being her. She's already her by the time we step into the show. It's not real. I mean, it's sort of an origin tale, but it's like the origin's kind of told through, like, like sort of little bits of flashbacks during the where the Daredevil one was a straight up origin tale, and it's like, I don't want to see this. I want to see him with the sticks in the outfit. I want to see him now. But still, it was worth it. We finally got to see him at the end, and then I didn't really like the suit at the end. But overall, it was okay. It's still a very, very good series. And but yeah, this is amazing. And now I got a new 4K TV, so now I've been going back and watching them on 4K. And yeah, big difference.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So okay, sorry. Yeah, Jessica Jones. That is a recommendation. The next couple things I want to talk about. We got a couple new trailers for some comic movies coming out. We got the Batman versus Superman trailer and the X-Men. What Apocalypse? What?
Yeah.
It's just X-Men Apocalypse. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we got 2 trailers. Both are pretty great. I think I actually liked the Batman Superman trailer better. I loved seeing the interaction between Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent.
Yep. I thought the whole thing with sort of like the inside jokes with what's his name? The Lex Luthor. It's like, oh, you don't want to get in a fight with this guy. I'm like, come on, really? Seriously? That's just Come on, Zach. We expect better from you. But overall, pretty cool. I thought Doomsday looked kind of like,
Yeah, I saw a lot of people complaining about, or somebody posted on the community, like, what don't you like about this? And it was like just a list of how bad that was. I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was. I don't like that they. I mean, I guess I see why they adapted, but it seems I read rumors, and it seems like they're saying that from the trailers that they turned Zod into Doomsday.
Yeah. I didn't like the way Doomsday looked. He looked more badass in the comics.
Definitely.
Yeah, he looks like he's made out of Play-Doh or something in this.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
My complaint was... go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, my complaint is Lex Luthor. I was really hoping that it wouldn't be Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, that he would change his stick, a little bit, but it really is just Jesse Eisenberg with a changed name.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer to me.
I'm going to wait, see what it looks like. I'm definitely excited. Definitely going to go see it. Definitely going to be there opening night. But we'll see. The story is so, like, I still don't even really know what the story is. Like, there's all these scenes. They don't all seem to be from the same movie. Like, who the hell are these people? Like, with the Superman logo on their like Gestapo outfits and stuff like that. And Superman shows up and they're all kneeling to him. It's like, where did that come from? And maybe that's good. So maybe we finally have a trailer that doesn't like reveal all the best parts of the movie. But I also have no idea what this movie's about.
I like it better that way, because that's a lot of the comic book movies, they do that. They just reveal the whole plot.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I enjoyed the trailer. And definitely looking forward to going to see the movie.
And what about the X-Men trailer?
That was awesome. That was really awesome. Like, I haven't been this excited about an X-Men movie since like maybe the first one. Like, it looks really good. Like, you just get glimpses of Storm, but it's like, yes, that is how she should look. And then what do you call it? Archangel with the blade wings. Man, they did a good job with that too. Yeah, I'm just overall pretty excited about this movie. But when I see like these big, like really big, powerful bad guys, I know that they can't do this in the movies, but I always wonder, it's like, you get comics where you've got like, where you've got hero versus hero, or you've got like more than one team against like some super big villain, but you don't get villain versus villain. Like, why?
Well, I think that's maybe what Suicide Squad is going to do.
That's different, though. What I'm saying is, like, why hasn't Thanos gotten into a fight with Apocalypse? You think, like, they all want to take over the Earth. You eventually think that, like, like Thanos has got this plan, and then Apocalypse is doing his own thing, getting ready to try and take over the Earth, and then Thanos is like, whoa, dude, whoa. And then they get into a fight over, like, who's going to be in control of the Earth. Or, like, say one of them wins, takes over the Earth. So, like, Apocalypse wins, his plan goes off, he's in control of the Earth. But then Thanos is like, no, I want the Earth, and Thanos shows up, and then they get into a big fight. Stuff like that. It's like, why? Or like, Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse. Why aren't they getting into a fight? It's like these are bad guys. They all want the same thing. If anybody would be getting into a fight, it would be them.
I could see them doing that kind of in the Avengers universe, because Thanos has kind of been at odds with some of the other bad guys. So I could see Marvel playing with that in the future with theirs.
Yeah, or like let's do Secret Wars where it's just villains. Secret Wars villains. Like, I mean, who wouldn't want to see a fight between like Thanos and Galactus? You know, or that I think that would be really awesome.
Yeah, it could be. I mean,
Hero versus hero is done done to death. You know, yeah. It's just let's see villain versus villain. Get it on.
Yeah. So for the X-Men trailer, what did you think of the Apocalypse Oscar Isaacs? Like, I loved the voiceover and the kind of like slow reveal of him and only seeing like, he's pretty obscured.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. Like the first shot that we had of him, like months back, I think it was like a picture or something that they put out for like the magazine and whatnot. Didn't look all that great, but like when you see the finished product, and when you see the way like the effects are in and stuff like that, and the lighting and all that, it's like, okay, yeah, that's the guy I remember from the comic books.
The other thing is I completely forgot that Jennifer Lawrence is in these movies.
Yeah,
she's become so huge now, and then it's just weird to see her, because she did
what
that.
What are you doing in an X-Men movie?
Right. Yeah, I just completely forgot. I was like, oh yeah, she is in this.
But usually she's in head-to-toe makeup too, so that's part of the reason why it's easy to forget. And then she's transforming into other people. I think the actual actress shows up for work for like maybe a week on the entire movie. Yeah,
entirely possible.
Yep.
So the last bit of news that I wanted to talk about was that Amazon is finally merging their Kindle library with Comixology. So I haven't had a chance to try this out, but I saw an article to where you can now read your Kindle comic purchases through the Comixology app, which is pretty cool because I know that for me, I have quite a few Kindle books because for a long time, DC didn't let you buy collections on Comixology. You could only buy collections on Kindle, so I bought them there because they were a lot cheaper than buying the individual issues. And so they're finally, starting to merge the two, which I've been looking forward to. Now, if they can, do some price matching, because there's a lot of times where Amazon has some really good deals on the collections that aren't shown on Comixology.
Right.
Did you ever buy any on Kindle or anything?
I bought like a few, like I'm talking like less than 5, because I didn't like the way that, because like the Kindle ones were like page scans or something. Like it just didn't look as good, or it didn't the view.
They have a guided view, but it's not. It's definitely not as good as Comixology.
Yeah. So hopefully, those will show up in my Comixology collection after a while, but like 99.9% of my stuff is already on Comixology.
Right. Yeah, I know people are really like. I know there's a lot of pushback about Amazon buying Comixology. I've liked pretty much all the changes except for the buying it in app.
Yeah,
like you can't buy it instantly anymore, but on Android at least you can solve that by just installing Comixology from the Amazon App Store instead of Google Play, and then you can still buy them directly from the app instead of the cart and then downloading them after.
It just forced me to set up my subscriptions, which work great. So now every time I pick up my iPad, they're already there waiting for me. So
have you modified those at all since you've been able to read less?
Yeah, well, I have added the Batman and Robin Forever.
Eternal?
Yeah, that. Yeah, Batman and Robin Eternal. Yeah, that. I added that to it. But that's it. I was originally going to drop my Aquaman, but then Comixology kept pretending like I didn't ask it to do that. And now I'm kind of glad that I did, because it turned out that the whole plot that I was really upset about isn't the case. So I'm like, because I thought that they were like suddenly putting Aquaman and Mira at odds, and I'm like, no, I told you, DC, leave this relationship alone, or we're done. And I thought that they had done that, but turned out I was like this imposter. So okay, all right, okay.
Cool. I think that. Is there any other news that came up that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't. Oh yeah. Speaking of like comic books on TV, have you seen the trailers yet for Lucifer on Fox?
No.
You should look those up because it looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for. I mean, Lucifer, and then also Preacher on AMC. We get some awesome Vertigo comics coming up.
See, Fox. Somebody needs to get a hold of Constantine and bring that actor and that character back. I don't know what is wrong with DC. Seriously, it's like
Constantine was awesome.
DC is just gone off the rails. They don't know what they want to do, and they could have built this combined TV universe. They could have set it up at CW because CW has already done so well, or said like if you want to license our properties, and you have to understand that like even if it's not on the same network, they're all part of the same universe. So then because Lucifer, John Constantine should show up in Lucifer. Should absolutely show up in Lucifer. And if the show was still on the air, it would be great to see them kind of bounce back and forth. But anyway,
I'll check it out because I haven't read any of those comics, but I think they're relaunching it too. But yeah, it's definitely. I loved that arc in Sandman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to follow it.
And then I stopped watching The Walking Dead. Like I didn't even watch like the last 3 episodes of the last season. I just stopped caring. And so that's I haven't even bothered to watch the season at all. So I think I can officially call that one done.
That's a show that I usually have a bunch of other stuff that I'm watching, so I don't get to it, and then I catch up on it later. So I have all the episodes so far this season just saved on the DVR.
And then, the other thing with Lucifer, though, is we have to be careful with is it looks like they're basically doing another procedural. Like they have this thing where they want to have a British guy, like this weird eccentric British guy, teamed up with an American woman. Like we have Sleepy Hollow, we have Elementary. I think there's another one. But then, and now there's this one because Lucifer's got the British accent and he's teamed up with this American cop, and it's like female cop, no less. So I'm hoping they don't go too far down that road.
That's funny. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. It's the in thing now.
Yeah. Huh. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So that does it for news. Hey, we haven't gotten to one of these in a while. The CBC Just for Fun topics that Joe Sokolowski posts in the community. And so for this episode, the one that stood out to me is they're talking about what comic storyline or what storyline from the comics would you like to see converted into an episode or movie. So I figure, some of the stuff that's already been done. So for like me, it would be the Justice League Tower of Babel storyline where Batman takes down the rest of the Justice League. Or he doesn't, but his plans get used by Ra's al Ghul to take down the rest of the league. They did it as an animated movie, Justice League Doom, but it was not good. But it would be cool to see that, maybe once DC gets their movie universe off the ground, to see that happen. What about you?
So I had a few. Batman Year One, done correctly, done faithfully. And the X-Men Brood storyline.
Oh, okay.
It'd be hard because it's basically Alien. It's basically X-Men versus Alien, but they could pull it off. Because X-Men is owned by Fox, who owns Alien anyway. So yeah,
that's one I could definitely see happening.
Yeah, and then Aliens versus Predator, the first comic book miniseries. If they followed that, like if they just the first, I stopped reading them after a while, but the first few miniseries were really, really well done. So if the
Oh.
Aliens versus Predator movies had just followed the comics, they would have been fine. But they didn't, and we got two really crappy movies. So
I actually yeah, I vaguely remember. I remember thinking the first one was okay. It was entertaining, at least to me. I don't.
yeah.
It was a long time ago though.
Yeah.
All right, so to kind of wrap up, we are more than our weekly comics, so we like to talk about other things that we've been consuming over the last week. So, is there anything else non-comic related that you've been doing?
No. Chasing the kid around. Yeah, that's about it.
Babies and comics.
Yeah, babies and comics. That's it.
So for me, Angie, my fiance, she found this show called Fixer Upper on Netflix, and it's on HGTV, where this couple goes around and they find not old houses, but kind of like crappy houses in rundown neighborhoods to sell to people, and then they fix it up and increase the value of it. And I'm not a huge reality show person, but this show has been pretty entertaining.
Yeah, there's a few shows that follow that kind of formula. There's probably 5 shows about house flipping, but then there's one where it's it's competing realtors, and so it's you got a couple, they've got a house, they want a new one, so one side is well, we'll fix up your house and hopefully you'll want to keep the house, and the other guy's I'll find you the right house. So then at the end of the episode, they either decide if they're going to stay in their own newly renovated house, or if they're going to go ahead and buy the a new house.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The new season's just started, so we've been catching up on those. So I still have to watch the latest episode. But yeah, it's been real fun.
Yeah, there's so much stuff on Netflix that I've been wanting to catch up on. I finally caught up on. I watched all of Marco Polo, which I really enjoyed.
Oh. So you have watched other stuff?
Yeah. While the wife and daughter were in France for 2 weeks, that's what I was doing. I was getting caught up on American Horror Story, Into the Badlands.
Into the Badlands is good.
So good. Except for that kid is driving me nuts. I just want to throttle him. When you get to the point of where it's you should have an understanding of what is going on and what the stakes are, and you still keep acting like a freaking moron, then it's I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And then I tried to watch that show, Bloodlines, on Netflix. Not really, didn't really hook me, but there's a lot of good shows out there that I want to try and start getting caught up with. But the best show that's not comic books that's on TV right now is The Originals. That show is badass. That is amazing.
You've been telling me about that for a while.
Yeah, so I've been meaning to go watch it.
It should be on Netflix, right?
Oh, it's absolutely on Netflix.
Yeah. So
it starts out because it's a spin-off of Vampire Diaries. So I tried to go back and watch the Vampire Diaries episodes with these characters in it. It's so hard, dude. It's so hard. It's because they're so completely different shows, So it's there's all this team angst bullshit in the Vampire Diaries. So I'm watching it on Netflix. I'm just fast forwarding past the teen angst, fast forwarding past the angst. Okay, fast forwarding again. So I haven't even gotten through it all. I'm just forget it. But yeah.
All right. So I think that about does it for us. So you can find links to all of our episodes on comicbookcommunicast.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/comicbookcommunicast. Our audio version is on iTunes and RSS, so you can subscribe and rate us there as well. And thank you. Happy holidays, I guess, because this will probably be our only episode before Christmas. And it's not night. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good month.
Have a good one, everybody. Happy holidays.